Hey guys, it's Dani. So today I'm going to do a very late June wrap-up and add in a couple of books that I've read in July so far. June and the first week of July has been an amazing reading month for me. I think I read around 11 books, so let's get into it. The first book that I read in June is The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. The Kiss of Deception is about a princess named Leah, and Leah is forced into an arranged marriage, and she doesn't want that, so she runs off to hide and live a different life and stuff. But what she doesn't know is that an assassin and the prince that she was supposed to marry are both after her and are posing as just regular people. So I was really looking forward to reading this book. I have been for a while, and unfortunately it didn't really live up to the hype for me. I would give it a 4 out of 5 stars. This book is known for a huge plot twist, and honestly, I didn't even see the plot twist in it. I finished the book, I was on the last couple pages, I'm like, okay, so is the plot twist going to be now? And then I finished the book, and nothing happened. I was so confused, so I looked it up, and I guess I just skipped right through the plot twist and didn't realize that's what it was. It didn't really shock me as much as other people. And it did kind of drag during it, but I mean, I did like it. 4 out of 5 stars. I'm looking forward to reading The Heart of Betrayal, which is the second book. It just came out. So I would recommend anyone to read this, but it just wasn't a 5 out of 5 star book for me. It dragged, like I said. The next book I read in June is Rebel Belle by Rachel Hawkins. Unfortunately, I had to return my library copy of the book, but I would give it a 5 out of 5 stars. I was super impressed with it. I've been wanting to read it also, and I thought it was absolutely incredible. Rebel Belle is about a girl named Harper, and she finds out that she has some sort of superpowers. And it's really a funny book. Rachel Hawkins, she writes really funny books, and Harper was a good character. And it was just really funny because she's a very girly girl, and it's also with superheroes and stuff, so it's really unique, and I really like the mix of it. It is written a little bit younger, I feel more young side of YA, but I really loved it a lot. The next book I read in June is Losing It by Cora Carmack, and I would give this book a 3 out of 5 stars. I read this book on my Kindle from the library, and it really fell flat for me. I've heard good things about it. It's a new adult contemporary. It's about a girl named Bliss, and she almost has a one-night stand with this guy, and then the next day she finds out that he's her new teacher in college. She has 1 semester left in college. She's a theater major. I was really looking forward to it. It was a fun read. I read it in one day. I read it by the pool. It was a really relaxing read, very easy, but it just fell flat. I don't know, it just wasn't that interesting. I think there's much better new adult contemporaries out there. But it was still a fun read. I don't think I'm going to continue with the companion series, but it was fun to read. The next book I read in June is Finding Audrey by Sophie Kinsella. In my last wrap-up, I read Can You Keep a Secret by Sophie Kinsella, and I loved it. But I said I wasn't going to read another book by her for a while, and this one is her new book. It's actually a YA book. All of her other books are all adult books, and I love this. I read it right when it came out, and at least I think I did. Yeah, June 9th it came out, so I read it pretty close to when it came out, and I absolutely loved it. I haven't heard people really talking about this too much. I've seen some people haul it, but not many people actually reviewing it. I would give it a 5 out of 5 stars. I was so impressed with this book. It was so amazing. It's about this girl, Audrey, who is a high school student, and she kind of has a dark past, something that happened to her. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil anything. And she deals with a lot of anxiety, and she's trying to work through those problems and get her life back in order. But Sophie Kinsella makes everything really funny and a really great read. I really hope that this book gets the recognition that it deserves, because I think it's amazing. The whole time I was reading it, I wish that it would be a movie too. It just makes sense for it to be a movie. It was just so good, and so impressed by this. It's a pretty short book, but I really did not expect it to be as amazing as it was. Just so, so, so good. Everyone should really, really pick this up. The next book I read in June is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. And I've been wanting to read a Colleen Hoover book for so long, and finally I was able to check one out on my Kindle from the library. And I loved it. I would give it a 5 out of 5 stars. It was incredible. This book was a new adult contemporary, and it was so great. So much better than like Losing It, like I said before. That book really fell flat. But Ugly Love really, really was incredible. After I was done reading it, I just couldn't stop thinking about it. I couldn't believe what happened. It's funny, it's sweet, and it's sad too. There's sad parts in it, and Colleen Hoover is just such an amazing writer. I can't wait to read more of her books in the future. The next book that I read is The Wrath and the Dawn, and it's by Renee. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but I will definitely leave it below. And if you watch BookTube, you've probably heard of this book already, because so many people are reading about it and raving about it. But I would give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I did really enjoy the book. It's about this girl, and I'm sorry, the characters have really hard names to pronounce. The main girl in it, she marries the king, I believe. Yeah, he's the king, and he's known for, he marries a different girl each day, and then the next morning she isn't alive. They kill her. So one of the girls who have done that is this girl's best friend. So she wants to take revenge and kill the king. So she volunteers to marry him, and then the next day she's still alive. And so it's about that, and there's romance in it. I really like the actual story of the girl and the king, but on some random chapters it was more about like her family that's like back at home and trying to get her and everything, and I didn't find that interesting. I really would have preferred if that wasn't in the book. And also there was a story part where she's like telling stories, and I found those kind of boring also. I mean, I know they played sort of an important role in the book, but I don't know, I just found those kind of boring. It was a good book, it wasn't amazing. I don't know, it didn't really capture my attention as much as some other books do, but I did read it pretty fast, and I will definitely read the next book. So, 4 out of 5 stars, I did really enjoy it. The next book that I read in June is Saint Anything by Sarah Dessen. I've read a few of Sarah Dessen books in the past, and I enjoy them. I don't love them. I like reading them once in a while, but they're not the most fun books. I can find them a little bit boring sometimes. Same with Nicholas Sparks books. I find them very similar, just Sarah Dessen is the YA Nicholas Sparks. But I was excited that this one was coming out. I saw it at the library. I was the first one to get it, so thought why not get it. And this one did seem a little bit more interesting to me. Saint Anything is about a girl named Sydney, and Sydney has a brother named Peyton, and he is kind of the center of attention in her family. And since he's the center of attention in her family, she doesn't really get too much attention, and she kind of just goes on her way and everything. But he gets sent to jail, and so Sydney is being paid attention to more by her parents, and starts a new school and make friends, and there's romance like any other Sarah Dessen book. But I really enjoyed it. I would give it a 4.5 stars. I really didn't think I would like this as much as I did. It's probably the best Sarah Dessen book that I've read. Maybe I could relate to it a little bit more than some of the other ones. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. The next book that I read is Paper Towns by John Green. And Paper Towns, the movie, is coming out on July 23rd, I believe. And I cannot wait to see the movie. The trailers look amazing. The trailers actually made me want to read this book. I've read The Fault in Our Stars, and I've read Looking for Alaska. But that's it by him. I'm not the biggest fan of his writing. I think he has the most wonderful ideas, and just his writing style just doesn't really agree with me. I don't know, it's boring to me. But I really like this. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. I would give it a 4.5 stars. I found it exciting. I liked the road trip. I liked everything that was happening. I enjoyed the characters. I'm really looking forward to the movie so much. I flew through this, and I loved it. Now I'm thinking about reading An Abundance of Catherines, because it's the only one I haven't really read, so maybe I will. If you've read that and recommend it, please leave a comment below. But I really liked this. It was good. I still can't believe I really liked it. The only thing is that my friends don't really want to see the movie with me, which is pretty disappointing. I might need to go by myself, but we'll work it out. Next 3 books I've read so far in July, and I thought I would add them in because they will be due at the library soon, and I prefer showing the actual book than just adding in a picture. The first book I've read in July so far is Miss Mayhem by Rachel Hawkins. And this is a sequel to Rebel Belle by Rachel Hawkins. Before I rate this book, I have a question. Is there going to be a 3rd book in this series, or is it just a 2-book series? Because if there's going to be a 3rd book, I will rate this book a 5 out of 5 stars. If there is only 2 books, if this is the last book, I would give it a 4 out of 5 stars because I did not like the ending. If there's going to be a 3rd book, then it's fine. You know, it's a little bit more of a cliffhanger. But if that's how it ends, I'm not happy with that. It's a really short book, much shorter than the first one, which is kind of weird. But besides that, I really enjoyed it a lot. I talked about the first book earlier in this video. I love her writing style. It's really funny and captivating, and I really like it. I love the characters, and I really am hoping that there is a 3rd book. The next book that I read in July so far is P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny Han. I read To All the Boys I've Loved Before last summer, and I would give that book a 5 out of 5 stars, but I didn't really remember it too much when I got into this book. I wasn't really looking forward to reading it, but I wanted to right away just so, because I knew I loved the first book, but I just don't remember it. So I was nervous that I wouldn't really know what was going on, but it really just, her writing style is just unique, and the story is very unique. So when I got into reading this book, everything came back to me, and I did enjoy it. I don't really remember the first book still, but I know I really, really loved it. This book I would probably give a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It just wasn't all there, but it was good. Just not as amazing, not as good as the first book. The last book that I finished in July so far is Between the Lines by Jodi Picoult and Samantha Van Leer. Something that's cool about this book is that Samantha is Jodi's daughter, and Samantha came up with the idea for this book. Everyone has been talking about the companion novel that came out called Off the Page. This is the first book in the series. I never heard of it before the companion came out, but I'm glad that it's getting more recognition because I loved it. I would give it a 5 out of 5 stars. It was so unique, but it did remind me of some books that I read when I was little, but for YA. Between the Lines is about a girl named Delilah. She checks out this fairy tale from her library, and she reads it nonstop. She loves it so much, and one day the main character, Oliver, a prince, he speaks to her. And so it goes between 3 different points of views: Delilah's, Oliver's, and the actual fairy tale. The fairy tale, we don't get too much of it, of actually reading straight through the fairy tale, which I'm fine with that because I wasn't totally interested in it. In Oliver's point of view, he talks a lot about what the fairy tale is about, so it's not really necessary to read the whole fairy tale too. But Oliver talks to her because he wants to get out of the fairy tale. He doesn't want to be, every time the book closes and then opens again, it's like he's acting out parts. Every time the book is open, he needs to play a part and say the certain lines, but when it's closed, they just do whatever they want, the characters in the book. So I thought it was a cool concept, and I read this book in less than 1 day, and it's a pretty big book. Something that's kind of cool about this book that is not common in YA books is that it has pictures. Like, here's a picture in it. There's pictures on some of the pages, like beginning in the chapters. There's some smaller pictures throughout the pages, and then also the point of views are colored. I don't know if you could tell, but this page is the fairy tale and it's in black, and then this page, it's in Oliver's point of view and it's blue, and then Delilah's point of view is green. So that made it fun to read, and I'm really looking forward to reading the companion novel Off the Page, but I really don't think it will be as good as this one, because I can't really imagine it being as good. I really love this book a lot. You should really read this before you read Off the Page. Those were all the books that I read in June and so far in July, and I will have a July TBR up soon. So leave a comment and let me know if you have any recommendations or if you've read any of the books that I just did and have any comments about them, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye!